Welcome, everybody, to Two in the Cooler. If you're listening for the first time, you can follow us on social media at Two in the Cooler, Instagram and Twitter. We also do our Who Would Win of the Week polls up on there, so you can listen to the segment and then vote in the poll. That's always fun because Matthew and I kind of like to see which way people vote. We always have a little competition between us to see if they're going to vote with me the right way or vote with him, sort of the, I'm not going to say the wrong way, but certainly the less right way. You can do that. And as always, if you like the podcast, why not share it with the people you love? Because if you like it, of course, they are going to as well. Why wouldn't they? That helps us a lot. It helps keep the show going, which we appreciate. This episode of Two in the Cooler comes to you in affiliation with Instacart. Instacart, the best way to get your groceries in 2020. It's an unconventional year, the most unconventional year that just about anybody can remember. So if the conventional way of getting your groceries is going to the store, why not switch that up and use Instacart and get groceries and some of your other favorite products from some of your favorite local stores delivered right to your door in as little as 1 hour. Okay, the Instacart workers will hand select the product based on criteria that you list out for them to get you exactly what you want. Right now, Two in the Cooler listeners get free delivery on their first order of $35 or more. All you have to do is use the link in our show notes to get that deal. Andrew Logar on the podcast today. We've brought him up a ton of times on different episodes, and now he's finally here. So without further ado, people, get into it. Thank you for listening.
And we're live, no?
Yep.
Yeah.
We're live.
We're going here today, folks. Andy, what are you sipping on over there?
I have I'm very excited for this podcast.
Wow.
I've got a Lakeshore Fog. It's a hazy and juicy IPA. So if you like beers that are juicy,
Wow, look at this.
Nice.
I'm the only one.
Nice.
I'm the only one mixing in the water tonight. Huh? I didn't realize it was happy hour episode again.
Me, myself, I'm personally indulging in a Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Pretty
Sure.
good.
There you go.
yeah.
And
so
for those of you-
might as well be having a
For
water.
those of you who don't know whose strange voice that is this week's guest, friend of the program, friend of the family, friend of the world, Andrew Logar. Welcome on the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, boys. This is an honor. Dream come true.
Yeah, we've tried to
yeah.
we've tried to work it out a few other times, but luckily due to some different changes, we were able to sneak you on today. Before we get going too crazy, Andy, what's going on?
I'm just excited to have Logar on today because, we tried to get him on a couple times. I think he's come up on the podcast before. There was one day, this was an early episode. I don't remember what it was supposed to be, but we were like, Logar's coming on today. It's locked in. And then he fell asleep and we couldn't get him set up.
Yeah.
And then
He did sleep through the podcast.
after we had done an
Tough
hour and
day
a
at
half
work.
podcast, he texted me and was like, I fell asleep, man. Sorry.
It was a tough day at work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only explanation you got. That's one of the most if you ever don't know where Logar is, if he's supposed to be somewhere and you all of a sudden he's not there, chances are it's because he's asleep.
Oh, definitely. Number 2 try, though. Second attempt that I tried to come on. Funny story, not really that funny, because I had my laptop and my dog chewed my laptop charger, so therefore I could not get on my laptop for that day. So very unfortunate, but I'm happy to be here today.
I don't believe a single word.
Dog ate my homework. Yeah, dog ate my homework. Classic story. Heard it a million times.
It's classic.
I've heard it a million times.
Mhm.
What's going on with you, Matthew?
Not much. Just pretty busy. School, hockey. We're finally getting. It's been so on and off with everything that's going on with COVID, but everybody's been getting their negative test results back, and
Nice.
so we're on the ice tonight. We're on the ice. All the rest of the week we're on the ice, and then all of next week we're on the ice. So, hopefully, as long as everything stays on course. So, thankfully, that's going down. I guess that's one of the benefits of going to a private college, and that's one thing that I wanted to bring up with Logar on here. And I call him Wayne a lot of times. So for those of you who hear me say the word Wayne, I'm talking to Logar. So Wayne goes to Buff State. He plays hockey there in the SUNYAC. And because they're a state school, they've kind of gotten some unfortunate news hockey season wise as to their season restrictions and stuff like that. So before we get past the intros and stuff like that, I know the past few episodes we've talked about some kind of serious stuff, some COVID stuff, some political stuff, and we're definitely not going to do that today. We're going to have a fun little episode, but I did want to give Logar a little chance to touch on his take on what's going on with his hockey season before we move past that.
I mean, yeah, so they pretty much canceled their season. They're telling us it's for health reasons, which I totally get. You know, this world's a crazy place, but from our perspective, we are college students, right? Like we're all right like with this thing, you know, like we're not really scared of this thing. It's not really that much of a danger to us, so we're ready to skate and to play hockey. And the thing that sucks the most is seeing other schools and other teams, especially like in our same league, Division 3 schools that are playing hockey still, and we're stuck here. We can't do nothing. I mean, we've been locked up for almost a year now. We can't skate, can't do nothing, and it just sucks. They you know, they let us practice. Now we're not allowed to practice. I mean, it's just a tough situation to be in. I mean, we all love hockey so much. All we want to do is just play, and they're not letting us. So I don't know. You know, I mean, there's not much we can do, but it just sucks. It's an unfortunate situation.
Andy, I kind of wanted to hear your take on this too, because obviously I have a similar opinion to Wayne and like the risk reward of playing during a pandemic like this, but you being somebody who has kind of been forced to be around hockey, so you understand it, but you never were somebody who necessarily enjoyed it. So from your perspective, what do you think? And factor in again, like what he said, and we're in my league as well. Like there's teams that are already playing games, right? And a lot of it comes down to just the state that you're in. And you got a guy like Logar who still has another year after this year that he'd be able to play hockey in college, but it's not something that you can just not do for a year and then pick up right where you left off, right? So if you don't play for an entire season, it has a long-lasting impact on your hockey career. So what do you think about it?
Well, that was one of my questions. You know, what you said, Logar, about it not being like a huge hazard to kind of people in our age range. I think a lot of people would get upset at that comment, but if you look at what's going on right now with this current wave and uptick, there's a lot of cases for sure. Most of the cases are for younger people. There's a ton of them coming in, but there's a lot less deaths than last time. So that is true. However, like I said, like I told Matthew when he had COVID, and you had it too, right?
Yeah, I had it.
You know, fatigue is like a huge thing. Like that's the number one concern, I think, if you test positive for COVID. I think playing, you know, in an intense sport like hockey, you're not doing anybody any favors. Of course, if there's a way for everybody to get tested before they play, then I don't see a problem with that. But that's probably like pretty expensive, and you know.
So that's actually the thing is. So the thing is the school saying that the reason for our cancellation is the health of us, which we kind of think that the real reason is for the money situation, because it would be expensive to test us and all that. But the thing is we're much safer off when we get tested, right? So we were supposed to get tested. We were supposed to get tested once a week. Our whole team was supposed to get tested once a week. We're supposed to wear masks. I mean, they wanted us to wear masks on the ice, so
Which is
only
what
7
we do.
people on the ice at a time. Yeah. And so now what they've done is, oh, we're not allowed to play. So what do you expect all of us to do? We got nothing to be up for tomorrow. We all go to online classes. We got nothing to be up for tomorrow morning. I mean, what do you think we're going to do? We're all going to hang out with each other. We're all college kids, right? So we're going to be in more contact with each other now than we even were if we were to be on the ice, right? And then on top of that, they take games away from us. So now Friday, Saturday nights, I mean, we're going out to the bars, you know, we're seeing people that we wouldn't see on a Friday, Saturday night where normally we'd be in bed by 11 o'clock getting ready for our game day tomorrow morning. And that's just, I think the idea is great to cancel the season, but in reality, they almost don't understand how college kids really are, to the point where, you know, you take these things away from us. The only reason we come to college and the reason that we go to class every day is because of the hockey. Like, that's our sport. Every sport's got their thing, but like, that's our motivation every single day, to wake up and do the things, you know, to wear our masks. And I mean, obviously we wear a mask just because it's, you know, it's the right thing to do right now, but at the same time, we all live with each other, and we all interact with each other much more outside of the rink, where all the precautions are. So you're almost better off keeping us there, getting tested every week, making sure everybody's okay. But now there's nothing going on. There's no testing. There's nothing. We're all on our own now.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good point. That's something that they definitely didn't consider. Um, Sort of the way college students actually are,
But at
especially
the
at this
same
stage,
time,
I think.
I think aside from the money, it's almost like an accountability thing, right? Because
Yeah,
they would
yeah.
rather I don't mean this in like a bad way, but I think it's kind of comes down to part of it. They would rather you guys have your own freedom to go out and do what you want. And if you do get COVID or if you do get whatever, it's on you rather than if you're still playing hockey and everybody gets COVID, that's on them for not controlling the situation.
Right.
So I think it's also an
Right.
accountability thing, which I still don't think is the right move. Um, and I've said this to a lot of people that I've talked to, Logar, other hockey guys, when we're just talking about how difficult it is to like get on the ice and like keep yourself sharp, kind of. And it's a mental thing too, right? Like we're so used to
Yeah.
skating probably minimum 4 times a week, every single week for the past 5 years of our lives. Like it's just what you do, you know. You plan that as part of your day almost every day, whether it be summer, spring, winter, fall, it doesn't matter. We're always on the ice. And now not only has that been an inconsistent factor in our lives for the past 9 months, but now it's season time, right? Now it's the time where usually the only thing I'm concerned about is hockey is, you know, I mean, you have school, but
Yeah.
realistically you're up for school and you're planning your day around practices and games and stuff like that and workouts. And so now it becomes a mental factor where you're so accustomed to your entire life. The winter has been about one thing, and now they take that thing away from you. I mean, it's not healthy physically or mentally. I mean, for anybody that's in the situation, I don't think. I think that when you're a college kid that has low risk of being severely affected from the disease, given you don't have any other health issues, I think that I mean, it's potentially more dangerous long term mentally than it is short term physically with getting COVID. That's how I look at it sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's also the thing. That's so my roommate he's actually the one that kind of petitioned there's a petition going around to the SUNYAC. I mean, pretty much letting all sports play, and that was kind of one of his big points was the SUNYAC's trying to help our health, but at the same time they don't realize the mental health that it's taken away from us. And then not only that, but the physical health. Like, that's our thing, is we're supposed to get up every day, we're supposed to go to the gym in the morning, then we're supposed to skate in the afternoon, and they won't let us in our gym. They won't let us skate. Like, I mean, me myself, I'm out of shape. I haven't been skating in a while, and I was hoping to come back to school and get back in shape, and it's just not possible right now. I mean, we don't have anything going on for us. I mean, don't get me wrong. I I get it. I get its health and everything, and I wish that, you know, whoever, like, whatever hockey is being played, I'm so happy for all of them. I know, like, junior teams are playing and all that. I don't want anything to go under, but slowly but surely it seems like more and more teams are backing out of the season, and I don't know. I really hope that it doesn't turn into another, like, whole cancellation of all these seasons, because I mean, a whole year without hockey is so detrimental to a lot of players. And, like, on top of that, we got kids who are freshmen this year who our freshmen, right? They're fighting for a lineup spot, and now there's kids who are still playing junior hockey who are still playing hockey, man. They're gonna come in next year and they're gonna be just a step ahead of everybody. Like no matter what like freshman, sophomore, no matter who you are, they're gonna be that step ahead because they've been playing hockey for a whole year. And I mean that might be the difference between winning games, winning a championship. You never know, and for us to like go our whole lives to dedicate to something, and then 1 year it's like could just ruin so much. It's tough to think about, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that, and Andy, I'll let you touch on one more thing before we move off the topic because it looked like you had something to say. I think that the biggest thing that I try to remember when I get frustrated over it, like, I was complaining last week, I believe. Like I'll wake up on a Tuesday morning. I'm supposed to have practice Tuesday morning, and I find out that practice is canceled because the school wants to hold us off for a week because of spikes in cases, and stuff like that gets frustrating because you want to find your routine. You want to fall back into that schedule that you're so used to. But I think what we gotta have to remember is part of it still comes down to not just us, the health and the safety of the people around us as well, the community and stuff like that. And I understand that, but I don't think that it's wrong to at times be a little bit selfish because at the end of the day, it's also affecting your health in a different way. So I think that there's arguments from both sides. Obviously, people that are more passionate about one thing are going to side that way compared to people who don't really care about it. And that's why, I think it's difficult for people who aren't hockey players to understand why to us it's such a big deal that we are allowed to play, even given the risks that are associated with it. But I mean, we'll see what happens. There's really not much that can be done for the situation. I know, like you discussed a petition, and I think that that's a good starting point, but only time will tell to see where it ends up. And obviously, I do feel lucky that we are still able to skate when we are able to skate for my own personal experience. And I wish everybody else the best that isn't as fortunate in that sense, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's tough. This whole idea of what you said, everything, but taking into account the mental and the physical health. Man, I don't know how you try and balance those. I don't know how the hell you even attempt to come to any kind of solution with that problem.
Drugs.
Drugs, probably. Drugs, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
But if you run out of drugs,
Then you're screwed.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I
Okay,
hate that.
I guess we solved it right here, everybody.
Yeah.
Start getting high or jumping off of buildings, I guess. Jesus Christ. Is that the tagline for the episode? Good God.
Yeah.
But I think it's tough when the thing that you said, Logar, about how with these some teams still playing, there's going to be a huge skill differential in the teams that have been able to get on the ice this whole time and the guys that haven't been able to. That's going to be, I mean, that is a gap that is going to take years to come back from if things continue to go in this direction.
You probably never regain that time.
Right.
I mean, just think, Logar, like I think about it like this, like think about you as a player your freshman year compared to your sophomore year, right? Like,
yeah,
the difference is that play. I don't know. It's just I hope that like that kind of stuff doesn't end up kind of biting people in the ass because that would be.
I think there's almost no way that it doesn't, and that it's just tough when there's so many different outlets and group having to make the same decision but for different people. There's no one big decision being made, and there's good and bad things to that. But when it comes to the competitiveness of play and of teams in the future, there's going to be a huge discrepancy there, and that's gonna suck for just about everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it also sucks too because like you just said, like everybody's in a different boat, man. Like we got freshmen who just joined the team. We got sophomores who are trying to make a spot on the team, and then we got juniors who kind of are, the coaches know what to expect out of them. But then we got seniors who can't play their senior season, and that's I mean, we got guys who want to go play pro. We got guys who don't like. I mean, we get another year of eligibility after this, but not everybody wants to take that year. If you're a senior, right? So you might only have 4 classes left. You might not want to come back just to play hockey to take 4 more classes, which really sucks. I mean, you miss out on a whole year of hockey. And I mean, a lot of these guys work their whole life just to get here, and they know that it's the end, and it sucks to see it end. I mean, they played their last game of hockey before they even knew it, and that's kind of the worst part about it.
Yeah, that's kind of a situation that I thought I had found myself in the past, and it's definitely not a good feeling. Let's get away from the hockey talk for a bit, though, if as long as you guys are okay with that. Andy, there's something that I wanted to bring up that I've been thinking about, and I noticed it the second it happened. And I said it out loud, and you weren't there. And then I didn't bring it up to you, and then boom, a day later, I see that you caught on to it. The hot rod celebration when the
Yes,
Bills scored a touchdown.
that's right.
So I was watching. So it was beautiful in Western New York this past weekend. It was like 70 degrees and sunny yesterday, 65 degrees and sunny the day before. It's been beautiful. So Bills game Sunday. I watched it. I watched it with the folks, went to mom and dad's house. We set up the TV out back, had some snacks. Great time watching the game. And I noticed it the second it happened. I saw it on TV, and I said out loud, "Ancestors protect you." And like I watched it happen. And our mom was like, "What?" And I was like, "It's a hot rod thing. Like Andrew would understand." But I didn't bring it up. But I knew I was going to bring it up on the podcast, and then I saw that you had posted it on your Instagram story the other day, and I was cracking up because what a hysterical celebration reference. And I believe that it went on to win the Bud Light celebration of the week contest.
Yep.
That one
correct.
with Josh Allen, that was a hot rod reference?
Yes,
Yeah.
You did not know that, Logar? That's one of the funniest parts of the movie.
I didn't know that,
well.
but I love that movie. I love that movie.
You know how right
so before they go to fight?
Yeah, Sandberg fights their dad every time. He and Kevin do a little thing. One is gods of the wood. May your hammer be mighty. That's a great one. And then the other one is the ancestors protect you. There is no man. Yeah, just everything about that Sunday was absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the Bills. God, that was incredible. I'm so glad that they won. That was such a huge game. Man, and I'm just so glad that the Bills have been so bad for so long, and even when they've had their moments of goodness, people are always like, well, they'll find a way to bills it up or whatever. And last game was definitely a big opportunity for them to quote unquote bills it up.
Yep.
I get so mad when people are cynical like that about the team. Like, they haven't even played yet. And look, most of the times in the past, they let you down every single time. That's a fact. But I cannot tell you how heated I get when people are just so cynical about the Bills at some opportunities. And look, I could have probably only named 3 Bills players confidently, but I would still die for that team. And after seeing Josh Allen do that hot rod celebration, like I said, Super Bowl caliber stuff, 100%.
Super Bowl caliber touchdown celebrations.
Yep.
Yeah, Hot Rod. I feel like Hot Rod is a movie that a lot of people have seen, but it's fairly underappreciated by those who haven't seen it.
100%.
Right? Because it does appear to be like a low budget movie. It's not long. It's only like an hour long, right? It's like a very
it's probably close.
What?
If it's not 90, an hour long, it's not like an after school special. It's got to be at least 90.
I don't think it's very long.
I mean,
are you looking it up?
That is a funny movie, though. Hey, it's so stupid that it's funny, man. They just come up with the dumbest stuff. and
Yeah.
it catches you off guard, and it just makes you laugh. And that is
Yeah.
a funny movie.
Hour and 28 minutes.
Oh, all right. So fuck me
Yeah.
then. Sorry, we got Mr. Fact Checker over
But
here.
it feels
shitting on my
quick.
face
No, I know
today.
what you mean, though. It feels
Yeah.
quick. Just because, like, a
Um,
lot of people judge how good a movie is sometimes by, like, the length. And if it's, like, under 90 minutes, you can usually tell
They
that it's
just
going to be a
assume-
shit show.
Well, because a lot of times in a movie that's short, there's a lot of plot holes. But
Yeah.
Hot Rod doesn't leave you time for any plot holes because everything that happens is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I think that movie was
No,
definitely ahead of its
Hot
time.
Rod's a funny movie.
Whiskey. Yo, that movie.
Hey,
That
Hot
movie's
Rod-
very funny.
Dude, when he just, dude, all about that thing, man. When he just goes like he thinks he's gonna nail the jump into the pool, and then all of a sudden just bang, scoot straight into the pool, catches me so off guard. Oh, I love that. Dude.
Yeah,
It's so stupid that it's funny.
He doesn't
So
even come
stupid
close.
it's funny. No, yo, it's like that movie we watched last night. What was that movie?
Game Over, Man. Have you ever seen Game Over,
Game
Man,
Over,
Andy?
Man.
I love that movie.
That's
It's
a
on.
funny movie,
It's on
too.
Netflix. It's the cast of what the hell is that show?
Workaholics.
Workaholics. That is a
Yeah.
damn. Logar never seen it, and we watched it last night, and we were laughing our balls off. There's so many dicks in that movie too, and dude, there's something about dicks that just you can't help but laugh every time. Something
that's
about
funny,
dicks. Yeah, no, that's a good
good old
movie.
fashioned fun.
Well put. Well put.
There was one other thing, Andy, that I had noted in my brain that I really wanted to bring up, and it's kind of slipping my mind. Oh, I know what it was. This actually doesn't really have anything to do directly with you, Andy. It's more about Wayne. So Two in the Cooler, you know, we built it around, I guess, what we've called in the past a lifestyle. You know, we've told the Two in the Cooler story
First
on here
people to ever
before.
use that term.
Yeah.
Right.
We've told the Two in the Cooler story on here before about how the name came about.
I've heard it.
And,
Yeah, 6 a.m.
yeah.
2
Wait.
o'clock.
Wayne's heard it before, and I just want to say that this actually wasn't even the original point that I was going to get on, but Wayne, without a doubt, Andrew Logar, without a doubt, lives a Two in the Cooler lifestyle to a T. We use the term a lot of times, getting pucks deep, playing a full 60 minutes, kind of hockey terms to reference our ability to do things. And I think in order to, live the Two in the Cooler lifestyle, you have to go for a full 60 minutes, maybe even a little overtime action. You can't take the foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And I've seen Logar pull a rabbit out of the hat before and get it done with little time left on the clock, all odds stacked against him. He's definitely a trooper. But what I was going to say originally in reference to Andrew Logar is, so Andy and I obviously have the same mother. We're brothers. Wayne and
Is that how that works?
Yeah, Wayne and I over the years through our friendship, it's been determined that Wayne and our mother, Liz Canada, have some of the biggest unsettled beef of all time. And I'm not really sure why. I think that a majority of it goes to whenever my mother questions one of my decisions, usually my instant response is, well, Andrew Logar said it's okay, so it's okay. And that usually goes over well. She usually says, as long as Logar says it's okay, then that's fine.
Obviously.
But
yeah.
she also then throws in there that she wants to kick Logar's ass. Logar, on the other hand, is convinced that he could dummy our mom. He thinks he can kick our mom's ass.
Uh-huh.
So this, I don't know if you've ever heard of this feud, Andy, but it's been going on for some time. Kind of a who would win of the week, Liz Canada versus Andrew Logar.
Yeah.
Obviously me. Yeah, let me just set the tone straight here. First of all, I just like to say, it starts off. I mean, Liz Canada, she made a good kid, but guess what? I am undoubtedly 634-0 against Matt Canada in wrestling matches.
That
If
is
Liz
just
Canada
not
thinks
true.
that she can come near me, I just think she's weighing over her head on this one.
Well, I don't think
respect her
I don't
opinion
think
and all, but she just,
the skill of the mother should be a
No, and
you know,
also let me
against
just
the.
Well, I
let
mean,
me
you
just
can't.
squash this
Matt's got to
before
learn
it
from
even gets
somewhere.
past it. I
No,
can honestly
no.
say that within our parents' house, between every inside, outside, every room in the house, I do not know if I've ever lost a match in this house.
Buddy, oh my God!
I
You can keep lying to
I
everybody,
can
but
think
we
of
all
a
know the
couple
real
times you
answer.
lost. I can think of one
Andy.
big one.
Yep. See,
No, I've never lost a fight in that house. I am undefeated.
You never okay, sure. You
Doesn't
never had to get a
matter.
staple in your head. You
It
never had to
doesn't-
get one
oh,
staple in your
First
head.
of all, okay. First of all, let's break down this story. You want to talk about brotherly love? I would say I was what, like 13? Big hockey tournament coming up this weekend. Big hockey tournament. Hadn't been able to skate in a week because I got a concussion. So I was on IR. I was in concussion protocol.
I don't remember
And
that.
finally I get cleared. I go to the doctor. I get cleared for my concussion. I'm allowed to play in the tournament this weekend. I'm so fired up. So tournament starts on a Friday. It's Thursday. We get home from school. I'm buzzing. I'm like, dude, I don't have to go to school tomorrow. I got games all day. Like, I'm going to get home, throw on the TV, like, get in the right state of mind, be buzzing for this tournament, right? Go home and throw on the TV. Andy, instantly, boom, no, we're watching my show, whatever. That's probably how the argument started. That's how a lot of them did. You know, he tries to go king of the castle on me. So I get a little upset. I'm like, hey, I got a big weekend coming up. Like, let me watch my show.
Upset.
Turns into a physical altercation. Remember, I'm still in concussion protocol, kind of. You know, I'm not right in my
I don't
brain.
remember that
So
being a part
Andy
of it.
picks me up and throws me headfirst into a wall, splits my head open, still in protocol. Like, dude, I had to get staple in the dome. Luckily, I was able to play. I think that was just a pure example of, one, that was just true evil. And
Okay,
two,
let me tell you what happened. So, Matthew Logar, think you could probably speak to this. The best way that I would describe Matthew is an instigator. When shit's going on,
oh yeah,
he's like, raise the level.
I'll stir the pot. That's not a bad thing.
Stirring the pot.
There's no denying that I can stir the pot
listen to
with
me.
the best of them.
I'm a pretty in control person. So living my whole life with an instigator constantly instigating and trying to like get a rise out of me, I think I handled myself pretty well in that house for the 17 years that we were there together. On this particular day, I don't know if I had a bad day or what, but we got home and Matthew was just going on and on and on. So I walked away. I walked into the other room and I stood there for a second and I was like, you know what?
That'd be bullshit.
Listen to me. No. Because I was standing in the kitchen, and I was like, you know what? I let this kid just go and go and go all the time. Like, I think this one time, I'm just not going to let it stand. So I walk back over to him. He's sitting on the couch, but he's not like, he doesn't have like his back like on the couch. He's kind of like sitting, with his back turned to me or whatever. So I walk in there and I tap him on the shoulder. And when he turns to look at me, I punch him in the face. I punched him right in the face. So
nice.
Then
I don't even remember that.
So then he gets up and obviously he's going to come at me. So he starts coming at me or whatever, and we kind of tussle for a second. And then so he tries to kick me, and I grab his leg, and now I pull him. So now he's like laying on the ground. And in a moment of sheer Hulk ability, I lifted him up. I put one hand like by his pants, by his belt loops, and one hand on his collar, and I toss him like a log out a window, and he just happens to go dome first into the wall. And so he kind of crumples to the floor, and I was like, okay, well that settles that.
No.
And then he gets up. I'm not done. And he gets up, and he realizes his head is fucking bleeding, so he starts freaking out. And he starts screaming, I'm not going to be able to play hockey. I thought he was going to kill me. So I ran into the bathroom and I locked the door. And then when he starts yelling about his head bleeding, I thought that he was lying to try and like coax me out so that he could jump on me. So I opened the door a crack, and then I see like this tiny pool of blood on the floor outside the bathroom. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll call somebody. And yeah, he had to get.
Mom was at work.
It was just one staple.
It was just one staple,
Okay,
but the
that's not
staple
bad.
wasn't the problem. It hurt like hell. But what was the problem was I didn't was going to be able to play hockey. So it leads to so our mom was at work, so she calls our neighbor Jody, lives across the street. Fantastic watercolor artist, by the way. Quick shout out to Jody Ziem. She comes over, but she hates blood. Like blood freaks her out. So she did a lot for us as children, but to be honest, there was no way she was helping in this scenario. I was just sitting there with a towel on my head to stop it from bleeding until our mom got home. She was kind of calming us down, but she doesn't like blood to begin with. And then I remember I had to go get a skull cap. I had to wear a skull cap all weekend under my helmet because they didn't want the staple to get like caught up when I would take off my helmet, or like if I got hit in the head or something, my helmet shook and then the staple got ripped out of my head. So I wore a red Under Armour skull cap all weekend under my helmet.
And you looked like a badass, so you're welcome.
No, I probably looked like a goddamn tool.
You probably did.
Yeah, I don't know, but regardless, I've never lost a fight in that house except for maybe that one situation. Logar's never beat me in a fight.
Come on,
he's
buddy.
never beat me in toothpaste.
Dude, I
It's
honestly,
the official
and I think he'd get his ass kicked by our mom.
So much. I am so sorry. I just, you know what? I'm not gonna chirp Liz. She, when the time comes, me and her will have our final round. All right, but like, it's like I proved my point in the Canada household that I can dummy you. Maybe I have to move up to Andy because you're obviously not enough competition. I'm gonna have to hit up
Lost
Andy
in
now.
that basement.
And if I pass Andy, then maybe I could hit up Jerry. And if I get through Jerry, I swear I
Jerry's
will
a
dummy
tapper.
Liz. I mean, it's facts.
Jerry's a
It's
tapper.
facts.
Yeah.
I know babies that can kick
Jerry's
Jerry's ass.
Unless he's got a rolled up newspaper in his hand, he's basically useless in a fight.
Yeah.
He's deadly with the rolled up newspaper.
He's pretty
yeah,
spot
he's
on. He's
deadly?
pretty spot on.
He's a sharpshipper with the
Yeah.
newspaper.
Like Miyagi with the chopsticks.
Yeah, he's good with
fucking
it.
rolled up
Also,
Wall Street Journal.
I would say the only other time I wouldn't catch him, besides with a newspaper in his hand or a magazine, is right after he dries the dishes. If he's got a wet towel, he can get you going with a wet towel too.
Ooh,
He must have spent a lot of
nice.
time in the guy's locker room growing up. He's good with the he's good with the towel snaps. No, but honestly, I mean, you break down the list of our friends: Metzler, Bauer, Adriano, you. I would say are the four people that I've consistently kicked their ass in my own basement.
No.
Sometimes all of them at a time. Sometimes all four of them at once. I'll kick their ass all at once, and I'm standing there like, "You guys want to do this again?"
It should be called my basement, and you just happen to sleep
when
there
we're doing
once in a while.
whether it's a scrap, like whether it's a Donnybrook, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's gun game on hijack.
Yeah, gunfight? No way! I dummy you.
I don't think I've ever lost in our basement.
What is a gunfight? You guys play a lot of weird games. We know that toothpaste is obviously the official game of the podcast.
Yeah,
but there's some, and I recognize most of what you were saying, but gunfight is not one that.
It's gun game. It's like a party mode game that they had in some of the like Call of Duties, like mostly the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is the one that we really played.
Oh, okay.
And so what it is, and you can play it like all different ways, but we would play it 4-player local. So there'd be 4 of us, and we'd all be playing on the same screen. Nobody else on the map but the 4 of us. We played on this map called Hijacked. It's a boat, and it's a fairly small map, so it's fun when there's only 4 of you. And the goal is to get to 200 points. And you get points by killing people with guns. But every time you kill somebody, you get 10 points. And you get a new gun. So the goal is to get to 200 points with using different guns. So it starts off where like you're using pistols, and then you get into shotguns, then you get into like different fully automatic weapons, and then snipers, and then it ends with 2 rocket launchers, a crossbow, and then ballistic knives is how it ends. But you can change the settings around. So usually how the game works is but you always have your knife, right? Because you can always knife kill somebody in like that version of Call of Duty. So if you knife somebody in the actual game mode, you get set back 1 gun. So see, you had 80 points, you get set back to 70 points, and you go back to the gun you were previously on. But we've changed the settings so that when you get knifed, when somebody sets you back, you get set back 10 weapons. So that takes forever. And on top of it, we put health on 200%. So one knife doesn't kill you, or one sniper round doesn't kill you. It actually takes 2, sometimes 3. So it becomes very difficult. So it's hard to kill people with those guns, like the snipers and stuff, and they can get pretty close to you and knife you and set you back. So the game ends up taking forever, and it gets very physical during the game in real life, because there's nothing worse than being on like 180. You're about to win the game. You're 2 kills away from the win, and all of a sudden you get set back and you're back at 80.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very it's a very competitive game that we play. Very fun.
A lot of heated arguments happen when you get knifed. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Some fights, some good fights. I know. Metzler is one guy who is not afraid to fight when he gets knifed.
Metzler wouldn't fight, and he would not be afraid to shut off the Xbox either. He would just turn it right off.
Wow.
I've shut off the Xbox a fair share of times too. I'm not afraid to
you
rage
definitely
quit.
shut it off. Man.
I'll shut off the Xbox playing anything. I don't care. I don't care what it is. I'll shut that shit right off.
That's the new flip the Monopoly board when you're losing.
Yeah.
It's just pushing the
Shut
power
the
button on
Xbox
the Xbox.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, we've had definitely some funny. So another thing I want to talk about was the beach house. I feel like that's a subject that we can't not touch on.
Yeah.
With Logar on the podcast. So for those of you who don't know, Logar's family has a beach house in Crystal Beach, Fort Erie, Ontario, and we've gone up there and we've had some great times up in Crystal Beach, and we've done a lot of funny things. And I don't even know where to begin on the list of funny things that have gone on there. But that's like our space to compete. We love to play games. So like all day long, like on the beach. Big favorite of Logar or of Wayne and mine's is Polish Bottle.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know what Polish Bottle is, Andy, but pretty much, Wayne, I'll let you touch on the beach house. I don't even know where else to go from this point. You can go anywhere.
I mean, yeah, I don't know either where to start, but yeah, you wake up, you feeling like $1 million because the sun's always out there somehow, some way. Crack open the first one as soon as you wake up, obviously, hit the beach and just start competing, man. We got spike ball, we got Polish Bottle, cornholes going, rip the jet ski if you want. I mean, it's endless fun. And then at night, everybody heads down to the basement, play some beer pong, and then we hit up sneakers or paddy wagon, whatever. But I mean, it's all around the time. I mean, it sucks we can't get up there this year because of COVID, but man, I do miss that place a lot. That place is electric.
So what is Polish Bottle?
So Polish Bottle is like
Bottle.
It's a game where there's like 2 sticks, literally 2 metal poles, super thin, like probably like not like a ½ inch in diameter, and they have like a little flat circle on the top of them, and there's plastic beer bottles, pretty much. It looks like a beer bottle, but it's plastic, and it sits on top of the pole, and so you and your partner are on the same side, and you play with a frisbee. So you throw a frisbee at the opposing team's pole, and the objective is to hit the pole or the bottle to make the bottle hit the ground and the frisbee hit the ground. So the frisbee is worth 1 point, the bottle is worth 2. So if both hit the ground, 3 points. However, you can't drop the frisbee ever. So even if the frisbee misses the pole, either has to catch it or it's a point. And it's a gentleman's game, so obviously you can't just chuck the frisbee 40 feet in the air. You got to aim at the pole. But it's a bloodbath of a game, and Wayne and I have kind of established ourselves as dominant force as a duo in Polish Bottle. When we went on vacation this past August, I actually don't think we lost one single game of Polish Bottle.
Yeah, that's one thing where I will say I don't think we lost the game. No.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to challenge us, feel free. I've got it with me right now. I could go set it up. I'll set it up in the middle of the boulevard if I have to. We'll just get the cars passing as lights. And I'll
doesn't matter. We'll still win.
Yeah. There's
traffic,
no
traffic. Doesn't matter. No.
So when you guys go up there and you go to those bars like Sneakers and stuff, is it like a real touristy area? I mean, I've heard, I think you guys say that like, even though you guys are kind of the kind of like people from out of town, they don't mind when you guys show up.
No, they love us. It's funny because we're from out of town, but a lot of the people in Crystal Beach are also from around. They're American and they're from like Buffalo, Clarence, like places like that. I mean, they're all from around the Buffalo area. A lot of people, but I mean, even if they're not, they're very friendly Canadians. I mean, they love us. We're a good time. So I mean, who
Thing
wouldn't like
is,
us showing up? I mean,
that Crystal Beach area, I mean, those bars that we go to, I would consider them more like dive bars. So when we pack
yeah,
in there, and we'll go
yeah,
any day of the week, doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday. If we're up there, we're going to Sneakers, or Paddy Wagon, which is actually no longer with us, I believe, but hell of a
yeah.
bar.
R.I.P.
So when we would go up there, um, I mean, I'm sure we maybe like I don't know if ignorant is the right word, but maybe a step above what they usually expect in their establishment. However, they just have to be making so much money off of us because their usual crowd is, probably like 8 to 10. Like we call them locals, even though like Wayne touched on, they're not really locals, but they're people that like live in that area, whether it be just for the summer or have like bought a house and moved up there to be on the water and stuff. So I definitely think that we are a key part to the Crystal Beach economy, and I hope they're not hurting too bad without us. But
Oh yeah.
we cannot wait to get back. That's actually one of my biggest
No,
disappointments is there's a huge Christmas party at the bar Sneakers that we go to every year, and we will not be able to attend. And that's really one of the biggest nights of the year. That place gets nasty when it's Christmas
yeah.
time. It is an absolute riot.
Yeah.
$5 sneaker bombs.
It's
Sneakers.
that's the funny part too is they're making so much money, but to us it's pretty much free money. I mean, the Canadian exchange rate like that's easy money right there. It's free drinks all night. I mean, you go up there with $20 bill, you walk out
Yeah, and
Sure.
back in the
feeling
You
good.
actually walk out with
feeling
more
good.
money. You're
Now
investing
that,
it. You're
like-
investing it in yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now that I've like, and as the years have gone by, like those bars have gotten more and more busy. When we first started going to them, like it would be so empty on some nights where I know certain individuals who would literally just like bring their own 6-pack into the bar, and the bar didn't even care. They were like,
Wow.
"Whatever, dude. There's people
Yeah.
here." Like,
yeah. At least there's people here.
yeah, it was. Man, I think Wayne actually did it with me. But there was only one time that we ever had an altercation at Sneakers, and it resulted actually in a positive. I ended up being privileged enough to be allowed to dance barefoot on top of the Sneakers bar. They granted me that
Yeah,
opportunity. And that was
that
something
was
that I'll
crazy.
probably remember forever. To make a long story short, this bar, or it was the Paddy
Oh, it
Wagon.
was a
Sorry, did
paddy
I say
wagon,
Sneaker?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
Paddy Wagon, it doesn't
yeah.
exist anymore. But from the information that we gathered, the ex-wife of like the partial owner is a regular at the bar still, and he used to be known for getting up barefoot and dancing on the bar, but has since not been allowed to after the divorce, I guess. So
Though
he made the mistake.
the owner or the ex-wife used to dance barefoot on the bar.
No, the ex-husband,
The
the
ex-husband.
ex-wife
okay.
was still like partial owner or
Okay.
whatever, like working that night. So after the divorce, I guess he wasn't allowed to dance on the bar anymore. And we had
But he was there.
yeah, but he was there,
What?
and we had been kind of going crazy this night. Like there was a lot of us, and had definitely had some drinks, and somebody spilled a cup, I believe, on the pool table, and it sparked one of the workers to
Yeah.
try to. It started as one of the workers wanted to fight a few of the people we were with, and that turned into me talking to this older guy who was the divorced one, and led to him telling me the story. that he used to dance on the bars and like what songs you do it. So I instantly hopped on the jukebox and said, I have to get this old fucking dude on the bar. And the second he gets on the bar, you bet your ass I'm getting on the bar with him. Like we had already been threatened to get fought by like one of the people that's working there. What's the worst case that's going to happen? They're still going to kick us out and be pissed at us anyway. Like if I can get him on the bar, I'm greenlit to go on the bar. Sure enough, we did. And Logar, you hopped up on there too, right? You were up there.
I don't know if I ever made it on the bar,
Oh.
but I remember how electric it was that you were on the bar with this guy.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was something to see.
It was
And
probably
people were loving it.
Yeah, it was
People
probably
were
one of the
loving it.
proudest moments of my life, actually. And
Yeah. No, that was some
funny,
good stuff.
funny that we brought this up. The Paddy Wagon was doing like some type of pool. It wasn't like a Super Bowl pool. It might have been like it was just like a literally like there was just numbers on like a board, and you paid
just
$5,
squares.
picked your number, and like if you got the winning number, it was like you won or something like that. And I never heard back if I got my winning number. So I wonder what happened there. Yeah.
So you use the power of dance to reunite the people of this small town. You're basically Kevin Bacon.
So this is the thing. So now the bar's what?
You're basically Kevin
That
Bacon.
couple
from
might have got
Footloose.
back together because of you.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they had a good night that night. That's what I'm here for. But unfortunately, now the Paddy Wagon has since been closed down. However, it was redone and reopened to turn into a margarita bar, is what we were told, and we were very fired up to take advantage of that this summer. Of course, we never got to, so hopefully they're ready for the onslaught of us going there to drink tequila next summer, which I don't even like, but I'll get it done if there's a margarita bar.
We're gonna do it.
Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys get back.
There's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. No, we'll get back there eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's been a lot of good times up in Crystal Beach, and the best part about it is we couldn't do any of it without Steve Logar. Steve Logar is like another father to me. You know, a lot of people, as much as Andy said, you always wake up feeling like $1 million because the sun's out. I've seen a lot of people there wake up not feeling like $1 million. But as somebody who tends to be an early riser on nights like that, I've had a lot of morning coffee with Steve Logar and filled him in on the events that occurred the night before, and if he should be expecting, a knock on his door from the police or any other local establishments in search of somebody staying at the house. But
you know what his strategy is this is what he does. He wakes up. You guys all wake up piece by piece, and you all tell him a story, and then by the time I wake up, I'm always the last one up. He pieces it all together, and I'm like, buddy, how did you know that? And that's how, because you wake up, then cousin Matt wakes up and tells him a little bit more, and then everybody wakes up and tells him a little bit more, and he pieces by piece puts it together.
But we've
never got arrested or sent to the hospital, so we must be doing something right.
Yeah, knock on wood, but that's a good point. But that's what he looks forward to. I feel like when he hears my door open in the morning, like that puts a smile on his face, because he knows that I'm coming down there to tell him all the stupid shit we did last night, so that he can then either bitch at you or your brother, or sometimes he'll bitch at me for shit that other people does before anybody else is even awake. And I'm like, I could have just not told you that. You would have never known. But I know that you enjoy it. So
Jesus Christ. I'm sure he does enjoy it. That's so funny, though. That's just such an ego thing.
Andy.
This guy lives for the sound of my door opening in the morning.
No, here's the thing is you'd be surprised, but when I tell people this that have never experienced this, they are suspect of it. But I'm telling you, I've made a big push to get on, because there's an owners association that meets. I've made a big push to get put on the owners association, because I have some really good ideas, such as mandatory second floor hot tubs in all the units. I think that's something I've been pushing for. The problem is the meeting is only once a year, and it's at 7:30 a.m.
Oh, is that the only problem with you being a part of the owners association? Not the fact that you don't own anything.
Oh, no. That's why I have yet to make it to the owners association meeting. I've tried. I've been there the night of. I've known it's in the morning, and it's like 8:15 when I wake up, and I run downstairs, and then I got to be the one that sits there and waits for Steve to come back while I'm having my coffee. Then I hear that front door open. I get a little smile, and he tells me what's going on with the owners association. And then I pitched to him my hot tub idea, and then
And then he says, "Yeah, I'll get to it next year, next week."
We still haven't got around to it.
No.
Well, I was actually gonna pitch the hot tub idea this year, but looks like somebody beat me to it.
Yeah.
That's called the
That's okay.
Steveism. It's called the Steveism. If somebody makes a sarcastic comment about something that you did and then says, "Well, I was gonna do that, but looks like somebody beat me to it," it's called the Steveism. Because that's what he does.
All right, that's pretty good.
I was thinking about wrecking the golf cart, but looks like somebody beat me to it.
Well, I was going to drink all 80 beers, but it looks like you guys beat me to it.
He says that for everything. That's pretty funny.
Much.
Man. All you need is one good joke, I guess, and you just ride that for the rest of your life. Yeah. That doesn't sound half bad. We're just that's why we're schmucks. We're trying to think of stuff every single time.
A classic one is, well, I was going to eat my leftover Chinese food, but looks like someone beat me to it, because his leftover Chinese food is almost guaranteed to get deleted every single night.
That's fair game, man.
That sounds like something they'd say on Full House.
Andy, I meant to tell you this. I actually told Dad. I don't know if you saw it. I tweeted something the other day, and your good friend, former guest of the podcast, Sam Phillips, came on, and sorry, I got off track, but I tweeted something. He replied to my tweet, and my instant response was, "Don't make me get Jerry on your ass." And he responded a short time later, damn it, now I can't remember the execution of the line. Something about slapping him in the ass with the Wall Street Journal. Like, what's he going to do, slap me in the ass with the Wall Street Journal? And it gave me a good chuckle, but I showed our father, and he also genuinely appreciated it. So,
hey, that's a heavy newspaper. You ever seen the Sunday edition of that? That's like an encyclopedia. That's no small newspaper.
There's a good yawn for the folks. So
nice.
Like I know we talked about this earlier. I actually have hockey tonight, so we can't stay on for too much longer. But obviously, of course, we have to get into the who would win of the week. We discussed it a few times, or we discussed a few different options beforehand. I actually don't even remember what we settled on, but I knew that at the time, Wayne seemed pretty excited. So Andy, I'll let you tee that up, and then we'll dive right into it.
Sure. Who would win of the week this week, I think, is a pretty good one. It's Buzz Lightyear versus the Terminator. And what we've got to decide, I think it's got to be like Arnold Terminator, right? Not like the T-2000, like the liquid metal one. It's got to be like.
I assumed it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it's got to be like the first one. So first Terminator versus Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
So let's say Buzz Lightyear is like, his laser is real and he can fly, for sure. And then obviously the Terminator is the Terminator. I would say that the answer to which one of them would win this is probably Buzz Lightyear. I don't know how strong that Space Command armor is. I'm not saying exactly that he could really take a hit, but I do think that he would be able to outlast the Terminator, hit him with some of that karate chop action, and put him in his place.
I mean, let's figure out. Buzz, this guy's a legend. I mean, he's saved countless toys. This guy. I mean, he does it all. He's a toy figure, and this guy can literally do whatever he wants. I mean, he saves dolls, he saves humans. He's traveled across the country. This guy's a legend. There's no way he's losing this fight. There's no way.
He has done a lot. I mean, I've got a lot of points here when I think about the two, but since we're currently on the Buzz Lightyear, bandwagon, let me say this right away. I think an underappreciated aspect, Andy, on top of his karate chop and his laser and all that stuff, and the fact that he can fly, is that little fucking button he has that always tells him what to do. And it was never appreciated until, what is it, the fourth movie, right? Yeah. And it nails it every time. He listens to the button. He saves, he nails it. So I think that, I mean, given the Terminator has him probably in the size and the strength category. Don't get me wrong there.
Yeah.
Can the Terminator can't fly though, right?
Terminator cannot fly.
Okay. So the Terminator
No.
can't fly. The Terminator is also not as agile or as mobile as
That's
Buzz Lightyear.
that's the thing is the Terminator
He's
is
going to be
not-
flying
yeah.
around, zipping his laser at him. Terminator's going to spin around. Buzz is going to zip away, get him from the back, hit him with the laser again. And then when he does, if all else fails and he doesn't know what to do, he's going to click his button. It's going to tell him what to do. Also, if he had to, in some situation, he could also, again, from the third movie, flip into like some type of Spanish mode and go salsa on the Terminator's ass and really get the footwork going, really finesse him. I like Buzz Lightyear a lot in this fight, but I don't think that the Terminator is to be undervalued here. I mean, it is Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're looking at a man who was Mr. Universe, and underneath his Mr. Universe body is just he's a robot.
Mhm.
So I don't think you can just count him out right away. He's not going to just lay down and die. Of course, he'll always be back, as you know. But I do think that Buzz Lightyear has definitely the upper hand in the fact that he can fly and he's quick and he's got that laser and he's got that fucking conscious or that internal voice, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Well, that's the key there to me is the agility, because the Terminator is basically like indestructible, but it's still like, for as advanced of a robot as it supposedly is, it's pretty stiff, right? It can't really like it doesn't really go around or over things, right? It just goes through.
Yeah,
them.
I feel like his thing is just, and he could just take a lot of damage, right? Like he's brute force, but I don't think that matches up well with Buzz Lightyear's agility. And I think
that would be the challenge. I think of this fight is Buzz would just have to outlast him, and then and that's challenging in its own right, because if the Terminator tags him one time, he's going to sustain pretty heavy damage. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to really depend on Buzz's athleticism.
But Buzz can keep his distance, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he'd be able to do it.
Yeah, I personally like Buzz Lightyear here. I mean,
I like Buzz Lightyear a lot.
I know we didn't get as in depth in this one as usual, but it just happened to be that the three of us were willing to agree on it right away, and I think that we're all on the same page of.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like you said, the Terminator has that brute force. He can run through whatever. He can. I don't know. My thing is, this is my only thing is, how much juice does Buzz have in the tank until, because I don't think Buzz would ever tap out, but
yeah.
I mean, the Terminator can take.
You think
all
his
that
battery dies? Maybe
neither of them would tap out.
No,
sure.
I think that the only way that it comes down to not Buzz is if the Terminator is able to just like straight up outlast him until Buzz is fatigued enough to make a mistake and get too close, because he's gonna be able to take a lot of damage. He's not gonna give up. I mean, even if he's pretty much down to, even if it's like the knight in Monty Python, even if he's got some flesh wounds, even if he's missing legs, whatever, I think he's still gonna try to hang in there, battle with the arms, do whatever he can do. But at the end of the day, if Buzz is able to keep his distance, use that laser to his advantage, I think that's a W for Buzz Lightyear.
I think no matter what, for Buzz to win this fight, it would have to take a long time, because it's going to take a long time to damage the Terminator as much as you need to in order to to take him down fully.
Take him out. Yeah.
But I think it just comes up to that agility. Buzz Lightyear, he's an athletic guy, and the Terminator is just too stiff. Like I said, I mean, if the Terminator gets lucky and is able to tag Buzz early on, then that could sway things in his favor for sure. But I think in a perfect fight, Buzz Lightyear, is going to take this one 100%.
Yeah, right.
I would have to agree. So let's lock in our answers real quick here. Cool. All of us are going Buzz, correct?
Buzz Lightyear.
Oh yeah.
So
Buzz
as
Lightyear.
of always, we will
100%.
leave it up to social. We will leave it up to social media. So there is a chance that the world could turn against us. But as you know, as I've said before, I think I'm I'm 100% on picking the correct Who Would Win of the Week according to social media. So
Yeah, what's
I
your
believe
record?
that I mean I would assume we didn't start the Who Would Win of the Week the very first episode, right? So say we started at episode 5, we're on episode 32. So
I don't know.
what's that, 27? So probably 27-0. 27-0, I'd say.
No.
Come
What did you pick
on.
last
I'm gonna
week?
go.
Because
I'm
last
gonna
week I
fact
don't
check
think
that.
you won. What was
Last
last week?
week,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't even
the
remember what the
taco versus the famous bowl. Doritos Locos Taco versus the famous bowl.
The famous bowl.
No, famous bowl didn't win.
Have you gone out and had a famous bowl yet?
No. And I did
Wayne,
go to
how good is
KFC
the KFC
yesterday.
famous bowl?
Never had it.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It looks
All right, we're ending that
disgusting.
conversation
It looks
before it starts.
disgusting.
Andy, you went to KFC yesterday and you didn't spend $5 to get the fucking
Yep, I
famous bowl
actively
just for the
chose
sake
not
of the
to get
listeners?
a.
That's
to get
actually
a famous bowl.
horseshit. Hey, I'm calling out everybody that
forgot.
listens to this podcast. If you consider yourself a fan of Two in the Cooler, you should be disgraced that one of your hosts wouldn't even spend $5
I
to
forgot
come
that
back
they
to
were
this
even
podcast
on the
with correct
menu.
information. That is fucking ridiculous.
Why would I
in
want
my
to
opinion.
eat just like a horse trough of food?
It's so good.
Ooh.
I don't even,
Fuck you, Andy.
I mean,
It's mashed potatoes, gravy, popcorn chicken, corn, and cheese in a bowl.
no. See, honestly, that sounds very good. I didn't even know what it was. I
See?
didn't even know
Fuck
what
you,
it was.
Andy.
Not enough people. We
And Wayne,
gotta spread the word.
Wayne, you can get spicy popcorn chicken too. You can get a spicy famous bowl.
That's pretty much what I eat for dinner every night.
See? Fuck you, Andy.
Hey, whatever.
Interesting.
I know you guys have eaten some crazy things, so.
Yeah, me and Wayne have an interesting diet.
Yeah.
There's actually a video of Wayne
Jesus,
that went viral of him walking through New York City with cargo shorts on and his cargo pocket was stuffed with pizza rolls,
That's
Totinos.
true.
Um,
Honestly,
God.
yeah. Look it
that
up.
guy's my idol.
It's not actually Logar, but it's who Logar will be one day. I would say in another 6 years, that will be Logar.
Well, it's good they have dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andy, I know we've been going for just about an hour on the button here.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you kind of wanted to get into before we continue on our way? And before you jump into that, I do think that there's a lot of stories that need to be shared about Logar and I and the things that we've done throughout our life together. But I think that I want to wait to really dive into that stuff until we can get back to getting some in-person interviews and stuff like that and get us all together and maybe all join in and have a couple pops and really have some good laughs about those stories. So with that being said, is there anything else you wanted to get into before we kind of wrap her up here?
Hey, I'm good to go. I know we got to get out of here, so I won't bring something else into the mix that might get us going.
What do you got? Depends. I mean, if you got one thing that's on your brain right now cooking, you might as well give it to us.
Okay. Well, Logar, I don't know. You seem to me like a guy with some interesting ideas and interesting opinions. What do you think about this COVID vaccine?
Let me tell you this. I don't know too much about this whole vaccine thing. I don't know the whole deal. I haven't researched enough about it. But one thing I will say about this whole COVID situation going on right now is I think that people have been locked up for way too long. And I think that we're at the point where so they're shutting stuff back down, right? So I think that it's almost like the government made rules, right? And the rules aren't working. If cases are rising, then the rules that they're making aren't working. And then on top of that, they're still punishing us. So their rules aren't working. And then on top of that, they're closing everything back down as if we're doing something wrong. It's like if someone were to commit a crime. If you commit a crime, do you send everybody to jail? No, you only send the person who committed the crime. So, like, if there's a bar that's not following the COVID rules, why does every single bar have to close at midnight now? Why does every single restaurant have to only have 4 people in capacity?
10 p.m. now.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. It's like it's like if your safety guidelines aren't working, then maybe you guys should change something instead of just telling all of us, hey, you guys should stay home. I mean, it's to the point where people are getting locked. People are going crazy because they're just getting forced back into their homes. I mean, it's only going to get worse and worse. Like the government, whoever's in charge, has to find a solution to all this, because people, we like, when this whole thing happened, everybody stayed home. Everybody I knew stayed home and literally in their own house, didn't move except for the grocery store. Now it's to the point where like people are sick of it. Like you guys made all these rules, we're all following them, and it's still not working. So now you want to send us back home? Like, no, we're not. It's to a point where I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I think it's just crazy. I think people, I don't know, people are going to lose their minds if the government keeps telling them what they can and cannot do. I mean, people are just going to start. It's going to go crazy. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then not to get into like politics or nothing, but then like the president wins, and then people are celebrating in big groups, and it's like, I mean, there's no middle ground to any of this, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, but I don't think the answer is what we're doing right now. I think there's got to be something better.
I say this all the time, man. I don't mean it in an insensitive way, but I've and I don't know if they've proven this wrong, but I still think herd immunity is the way to go. I really think if you just I mean, obviously don't just like pump it into the air, but like the people who are willing, like are willing to risk getting it to continue living their lives should be allowed to do so. And when those people get sick, it's it's their own fault. And if you're okay with that, then you should be able to go. And then the more that happens, the more people are going to, their immune systems are going to like build to grow against it, right? Like I know that they say right now it's like 3 to 6 months of immunity, but 3 to 6 months is a long time given we've already been kind of in this COVID state for over 9 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
My thing with this vaccine coming out is so COVID's been around for almost a year now.
Yeah, November of last year was when it really, I feel like you really started to hear about it all the time.
So let me think about this for a second. The thing about the government's got to do something or whatever, like this is a type of disaster that is so uncontrollable that it's like, how are you supposed to plan for it, and how are you supposed to what are you supposed to do to actually solve it? Like, these things have happened throughout history. There's no stopping them. They're just going to happen. And now this is what I've heard, is when you look at like Spanish flu, bubonic plague, all those like crazy, awful epidemics. They all have lasted like 18 months, I guess. This is what I've heard. Is that if you look at it, they've all basically come and gone within 18 months. Think about like the Spanish flu. There's this documentary. It's Ken Burns' documentary about the 1918 or 1919 epidemic, and like the opening of that epidemic, or the opening of that documentary, says straight up like, this is a disease that came in and then disappeared so quickly without a trace. And it's like, well, it killed like millions of people or whatever, so it didn't really disappear without a trace. But that's just kind of the way that like these things go. So I don't even know if this vaccine is going to be like, by the time it's readily available and stuff, are we just naturally going to be past the point of this pandemic? I think that's a possibility.
I mean, I think that, and like, here's the other, I mean, this is like even getting way more off the cuff. Like, what if like, I don't know, like I know people like sometimes when people, I personally don't get flu shots because one that I don't know, that's not a concern of mine. Like I'm kind of like, if I get sick, I get sick. And I know that there's people that have like different health issues that they can't be like that, but us being young and rather healthy,
right.
But sometimes people get flu shots and they get the flu. So what happens if all of a sudden you get a COVID vaccine? Because isn't that really how a vaccine works? Is like microdosing your body with
not exactly. So the thing about
it is in order
to the thing about the flu vaccine.
Don't even kind of. I don't. That's what I mean. Don't quote me on that. I don't know how vaccines work.
So the flu vaccine that you will get this year is for the flu next year. So you will. So that's why a lot of people still get sick when they get the flu vaccine, is because if they don't get it every year, they're
No, I
catching
mean that.
it
I mean that you
for
get
this year.
sick from the vaccine. Like that's the thing, that people get the shot, people get their flu shot, and then get sick.
Okay, I don't know. I've not heard about that. And so it's not really dosing. Also, technically, it's just an injured version of the disease. That's very easy for your white
Your
blood cells to
antibodies to
kill.
fight that.
Yeah, and then you would develop the antibodies off of that.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is at this point, I guess you just kind of still have to roll with the punches,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's like, all right, well, how long are we gonna have to, keep taking these punches? Because, like, it really, and I mean, every state is in a different position, but like when you look at New York State, like, I understand there's areas that have had COVID increases and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but
Well, here's the thing. Right now,
like,
didn't I say it right already? Is the with this current wave, like it's younger people that are getting it. So there's a lot of
isn't
big
that what
cases dumping
isn't
up.
that what they've been saying the whole time, is like they're going to flatten the curve and then there's going to be another push in November. So like, why is this
Yeah.
anything that they thought they weren't expecting? And
Yeah,
a thing that I
right.
always go back to all the time is the whole point of like the lockdown stuff was to like stabilize like the medical field in a sense, or like make sure they don't get
Right.
overwhelmed. But for all cases, like for everything that we've been seeing, like data wise, like hospitals are readily prepared, and at this point are actually like they're not even getting enough patients to even push them to close to the stuff that they prepared for, right? Like
Mhm.
they made sure they had enough space to take care of people if shit started to go sideways. And even at like 4% infection rate or whatever we're at in like Erie County right now, it's still not even close to like the hospital capacity that would force like us to have to go into a shutdown again, because they can't have any more people coming in with COVID. So it kind of seems a little ass backwards to me at this point, where the whole idea behind it at first was to like whatever, like slow the curve or whatever, that stop the curve, whatever that slogan was, and like whatever, and like now all of a sudden it's like I haven't even seen a goddamn curve in months. Nobody gives a fuck about a curve anymore. They just seem to want this thing to go away, but that's not how viruses work.
Yep.
Viruses don't just go away. Even if you have a vaccine for it, it's still not just going to go away.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again,
That's my take on it.
This wave, there are way less hospitalizations and way less deaths. Hopefully that continues, and I think that it will. Not being a scientist or a doctor or anything. Yeah, maybe it's just that people are scared, and the folks in power are just like obviously afraid that their power is going to be taken away from them, so they feel like they have to make some kind of decision, just to like look good. But that's bullshit.
Well,
so.
all right. Well, let's get out of here. Before we get out of here, real quick, just quick mustache update. I trimmed it yesterday.
You got one going,
Oh, yeah,
Logar?
it's looking nice. I got one going too. I don't know if you can see it. It's tough.
It's a little dark.
Yeah, a little dark on your end. But
it looks like
John
Waters.
Yeah. So I trimmed it up. I skinnied it up, right? I think I'm gonna go thick and skinny this year, or like thick hair but like skinny stash. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Keep it looking like keep it looking a little cleaner than usual, but also a little creepier. But I mean, I think that's
the more pedophilial, the better for sure.
Well, looking, not acting, but I guess
well,
looking.
I mean, you're not gonna want to act like it, but I mean,
the
more looks, the better it is.
No, I understand where you're going for there, but we have to clarify so that nobody.
No, I'm excited to see you guys dig your way out of that hole.
I was just saying, we could clip that sentence right there, just me saying the more pedophile, the better, and just pump that out. I guarantee you, people tune into this podcast.
That's gonna get clipped. That's kind of why we had you on the podcast, Logar, is just to kind of trap you.
I know.
And that's on its way to the FBI.
When I said we should wrap this up, Andrew texted me and was like, "Wait, I think we can still get Logar to say something that we can clickbait people." So thankfully we got that. And now at that song, we can kind of get out of here. Who would win of the week? That shit will be on the social media. Andy or Wayne, sorry, I can't call you Andy with Andy on here. Wayne, thanks a bunch for coming on. We've been kind of waiting for you to come on because we knew that we could have some laughs. I'm really just waiting for us to be able to get in the studio and all get together and really record like in a face-to-face manner. I think it's going to be hysterical. So when we can get that done, I would say listeners definitely look forward to that. But thanks again, Andy. I love you. Take us away.
All right. Yeah, Logar, thanks again for coming on, man. We'll definitely have you back, like Matt said. Yep. All right. Well, let's get out of here then. We won't keep you. Matthew, good luck. Good luck with the game later. Have a good time. And
thanks.
Let's go.
Way to go, Matt. I hope you score a goal.
Oh, I probably will.
No, you won't.
Yeah. My stat line. We'll upload my stat line to the two in the Cooler.
No, you won't.
Social media.
We're going.
So the
now.
over under. My team. I set my
minus
team total.
4.
No, I set my team total at 7.5, and I bet you I have 4 tucks. That's my prediction for tonight's scrimmage.
There's no shot.
I have a feeling that there's going to be a lack of defense going on the other team. So, kind of confident in my team's ability to put up numbers tonight. However, all right, fuck it. Andy, love you. Wayne,
Dude,
dummy
let's get out of here.
Get out of here.